morning to everyone in Raleigh, North Carolina. It's a pleasure to be able to join you for this FeTNA convention, the 38th such convention that FeTNA has held. And it's always a little strange to be that disembodied head and disembodied voice coming to you from thousands of miles away, but I'm here in Tamil Nadu, in Chennai. It's about 8:30 in the evening, and so it's great to have the chance to connect to you and to talk a little bit about where we've been, where we are, and where we're going in terms of diasporan relations and the Tamil diaspora in particular. Uh, it's interesting. I think a lot of different communities in India and around the world, and of course the Tamil diaspora, much larger than Tamil Nadu, have been looking, and I know FeTN has been looking at how to take diasporan relations to the next level. What can the diaspora do? How does it come together meaningfully as a strategic partner? And how does the diaspora take advantage of its status as a bridge between countries around the world? But tonight we're here to talk about the United States. That's the government I work for. How does it take advantage of its status as a bridge between the United States and Tamil Nadu and Sri Lanka and India? What does that look like materially and concretely in terms of benefits? And for a long time, the conversation around the diaspora has been one of cultural ambassadorship, celebrating this linkage and this bridge as a way to honor, celebrate, and respect the traditions of Tamil life and culture, and doing so in a way that sustains them and helps them to carry on. And that's incredibly important in every cultural context to do that. But at the same time, I know a conversation has been growing on what the next step to those relationships could be. Where can we leverage the diaspora in the United States to make real progress and show real benefits and show real forward movement for those within the diaspora, but something that serves as an engine for both of our countries, for India, for the United States, for South India, for the Southern United States. I'm actually from Atlanta, Georgia, not too far from Raleigh. Have driven through Raleigh many times, and it's one of many places in the U.S. that boasts a really strong Tamil diaspora. So to the question then is, we have these connections, we have these ambassadors, we have these bridges. What do we do with it? What do we do with it? So I want to offer a couple thoughts in that vein, and I believe and am gratified to see that they're in line with the theme of this year's FeTNA convention, which is entrepreneurship, innovation, and business. So let's talk about that a little bit. How do you make these connections effectively? Well, first of all, I think we're blessed with a lot of advantages, particularly with the Tamil diaspora, and I'm going to be a little bit narrow and selfish and talk about Tamil Nadu on this side, but you have on the Indian side, with Tamil Nadu and the Tamil population in India and Sri Lanka, a population that is incredibly dynamic, successful in business, entrepreneurial, leaders in innovation. You have in Tamil Nadu 27 of India's top 100 universities, and you have a setup much like in the United States, and I'll talk about that a little bit in a second, where growth and prosperity and innovation is not limited to the capital. It's not just limited to Chennai. It's not just limited to Colombo and Sri Lanka. It is something that is much greater. And I've had the opportunity to travel around Tamil Nadu, to go to Coimbatore and other parts of the state, and I don't want to name all of them. But I've been just really impressed. Everywhere you go, there is this dynamism, entrepreneurship, and innovation. And Tamils don't always brag about it. They don't always lead with how well their business is doing, or all of the investments they have in the U.S., or all of the things that they're doing to expand their presence in the U.S. But it's there. These connections are there. This success story is there. So when you have this kind of success, this kind of innovation, Innovation that you can see throughout India. You see Tamils leading projects throughout the country. Tamil Nadu is the country's second biggest economy. So these are real advantages, and you have these universities like IIT Madras, Anna University, and others that are leaders in not just education but research and development as well. So these are incredible advantages to have, and then you connect them to a very similar landscape in the U.S. And since you're in Raleigh, I'll start with Raleigh and spend a little bit of time there. You all are not too far from the Research Triangle of North Carolina, which is Chapel Hill, Duke, and Wake Forest. These are blue chip universities. You have an active state investment and export promotion office in North Carolina, as many states do. And many of those offices and universities in North Carolina and around the country are linked meaningfully to Tamil partners. There are many Tamil partners who are occupying positions of leadership in Fortune 500 companies, Fortune 50 companies in the United States, and at every level of business, whether it's a multinational, it's a mid-cap, or it's MSME business. You see those connections everywhere. And that's great. Where I want to start with this, in terms of not just maybe listing things you already know, but making some suggestions on where we go, I think the first real secret to take this potential forward in entrepreneurship and innovation is interconnection. It really is meaningfully connecting these businesses with universities in the US and India. It's looking at research and development partnerships. This is a big focus of the bilateral relationship between US and India as we look at the Trust Initiative, transforming the relationship using strategic technology. A lot of what will drive that trust transformation is R&D and innovation in technologies like artificial intelligence and biotech, commercial space. We all were happy to see the launch of Axiom last week, and the astronaut from India, leading the contingent up in space. There's a lot happening in these areas, and so research and development is really key to realize the potential of this R&D, to realize the potential that it holds for entrepreneurship and innovation. We have to link together universities, colleges, businesses, and link them with and through the diaspora. Now, when you look at the diasporan kind of footprint, and I don't want to tell you something you already know or maybe know far better than I do. But we have a bit of an opportunity, particularly with those who have just maybe been in the U.S. One or two generations. You have that kind of time when those connections are particularly robust between the U.S. and India, between the state and India, Tamil Nadu or elsewhere. So how do we connect all of those things together meaningfully? I think that's really important. And how do we do it in a way that doesn't just connect universities and business, but connects different kinds of higher education institutions, right? So that's community colleges, vocational and technical colleges. It's polytechs on the Indian side. How do we build those relationships? And then, tie them to our goals, which are to spur innovation, to create investment, to drive investment in the U.S. And that's something that our Department of Commerce is very engaged in. Again, one of the partners that will be really integral for bringing all this together. That interconnection and follow-up is key, and doing so with the state governments is key. The other, I think, really important quality here to keep in mind, or the other really important virtue, is, I'm going to add one. I think one really important thing that we need to be pursuing is granularity. How do we look at specific projects? How do we marshal? You set your goal in one column, you set your objectives in another column, and then you start talking about the right diasporan partners in the U.S. that can help us get that done. And that is a useful framework, hopefully, for research and development, for investment in the U.S., for promoting this relationship across the board. And something I think is the logical outgrowth of what we have been doing so far, which is a broader approach to the idea of the diaspora, the concept of the diaspora as linkages. And it's something that systematizes and captures a lot of what many of you I know, already doing in terms of business relationships with counterparts here in South India and Tamil Nadu and Sri Lanka, elsewhere, and bringing those benefits back to the U.S., building business partnerships that benefit both sides. Mutual benefit is of course, really key. How do we systematize and start accounting and recording that in a way that really allows us to use it as an engine for progress? And so once we do that, once we make our interconnections, once we systematize our approach, then for all the business people in the audience, and frankly, this is the most elusive and important quality for business and every walk of life, it's follow up. How do we follow up with these conversations in a way that makes sure that they move forward? How do we return to the questions that we need to answer, the obstacles that come up, the surprises that we see, the obstacles that we know about, and the surprises that we don't know about? How do we deal with one another effectively as partners to overcome these hurdles? I think that's also really important. This is something, as we look at the economic relationship between the U.S. and India, as we look at bringing investment to the U.S. and supporting India as an economic partner, working with India as an economic partner. These are the sorts of things that will harness the incredible knowledge, passion, and commitment of the diaspora, the Tamil diaspora, to take things to the next level. I'm gratified to see those conversations happening here in Tamil Nadu. We have good relations with every level of the state government, industry, IT, and other ministers and departments who share this vision of mutual benefit, of innovation, of R&D, and of working with the diaspora to make that happen, who share that vision of business and universities coming together as research partners to commercialize research, to do things that both solve problems and produce revenue that help the business and the university involved. There's a tremendous amount of potential in this field to work with the diaspora to make progress. And so, again, it's an enormous opportunity, and obviously with enormous opportunities come enormous challenges and complicated dynamics. But this is something that I think benefits all of us to work together to realize that will benefit U.S. investment, U.S. exports, that will benefit the U.S.-India relationship, that will spur the innovation that is necessary and beneficial to take us to the next level. And in doing so, will harness the enormous resources and vision of the diaspora. I look forward to working with FeTNA and others to get this done. The state of North Carolina, other states, our other partners in the U.S. government, and doing something that advances our bilateral relationship, advances our mutual benefit, strengthens our ties, and takes the diaspora relationship to the next level. Thank you very much for the kind invitation to host me, or include me rather, for this year's FeTNA convention, and wish you all a pleasant and productive rest of the program. Thank you.